welcome to another apple tasting video. Some of you may be wondering why we've been doing the videos here and why there's not been that many videos going up. It's purely because I'm unable to get away from looking after my parents for any length of time, so I have to stay around here. You know, the allotment's 2.5 miles away, so you know, I can't. It's not as if it's just around the corner. The time mounts up, and especially if there's a little bit of traffic. So you know, the quickest I can kind of get there, go over there and spend a bit of time is an hour and a half, and it's just a bit too long at times to be away from.
Yeah, nipping over here, we can do a video in say 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's much quicker.
So we've had to make a few compromises on what I do, and so this year's I've been kind of looking after the garden a bit, and I've also had to give up my computer work. Can't do any of that away from home. So what you will see over the winter will be crafting, art and craft videos. I've got several cutting machines for doing vinyls and different things, and I'm getting to grips with those. And so yeah, but we've got a few more apple tasting to do this year, and where if I've got a reliable sit-in call, that's with the carers where they can give me a 2-hour break, then I will be with Nigel and do the odd video from the allotments, you know, with the... Okay then, Nigel, okay. So what have we got on here?
We've got 10 more varieties, 1 or 2 of which we've seen last year. It's noticeable this year that quite a few of them are ripening early, but I'm hoping that the flavour nevertheless is going to be okay. Usually if an apple ripens too rapidly, it doesn't quite have the flavour that it does if it ripens over a longer season. But so far most of the good flavoured apples have been okay.
Now I've noticed this, Nigel, with the Lord Lambourne, it's been earlier this year. In fact, we've still got the leaves on the tree, and most of them have been picked.
How's the flavour compare with normal?
Flavour's been good, especially with the drying. I've done 4 loads now, 4 lots.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So, yeah.
Right, our first apple is one which is usually known as a cooker. This is Golden Noble. We've seen this before. You can see it's a beautiful, smooth-skinned conical apple. And it starts off green and eventually goes yellow. Whilst it's green, it's best used for cooking. When it starts to go yellow, like this one, it becomes quite good as an eater. It may not be quite ready yet. Some people think this is the best cooker. It doesn't break down so much as Bramley when you cook it, but it does have a better flavour, I think, when it's cooked. This isn't a bad eater at the moment. It's a little bit, you think it's a little bit on the sharp side? Just a little. I think I'd probably give that a mark of about 4. Perhaps a 3.5. Perhaps it's not quite a 4 yet. 3. It will get better. You can see it's not properly yellow yet. It is actually yellowy green, right. But it will get better. So we'll have another look at that in 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. And Golden Noble has a very high vitamin C content. It's one of the highest that I've found. Right, this is one from your tree, Julie. This is Spartan.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, it's cutting nicely, and it's got a pale greenish colour inside. Very pale green. It's a well-known eater. That's quite good. It hasn't got the concentrated flavour that you get with Golden Noble or with Ribston or something like that.
The taste isn't like, it really is a tasteful apple. It's not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's. I felt a little bit let down by the flavour there, but it isn't quite soft enough yet, and hasn't quite been kept long enough. But it's good.
But it will taste good dried, won't it?
Oh yes, it will.
Yeah, because I've already tasted them and good.
Yeah, when you dry apples, it concentrates the flavours because it removes the water. I think I'm going to give that a 3.5. What about you, Julie?
I think the same, Nigel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good, but I think it'll probably be up to a 4 or so in.
I know it's
week
an
or
excellent
two.
one when it's right. So the question is, Nigel, if you've already picked the apples,
Yeah.
do they continue to ripen?
It depends on the variety. Some of them just get older and stale, and some continue to turn some of their compounds into sugars, so they actually get sweeter.
Okay.
But if you have a storing apple, it tends to get a fair bit sweeter. I think this will get sweeter for a while, but not for long.
Mm.
It won't be long before it starts to get older rather than better.
Right. Okay.
This large apple is a seedling from a Howgate Wonder. It's a cooker, and we call it Chapman's Colossus, and it was found in the village where I live. It's a very, very regular cropper. It's a very good cooker. Not really meant to be an eater. But its main quality is its regularity of cropping. It's never missed a good crop in 25 years.
No, I don't like that.
No, it's a
No,
sort of.
it's just going to be a 2 for me.
Yeah, it's.
In fact, I can't eat that.
That hasn't got that much flavour this year. It'll be okay for cooking, but as an eater.
No.
So
Where's
yeah,
you?
2 for you, and now where's my rubbish container? Could you put it on the side of the plate there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to give that. I was thinking about a 3. I don't dislike it, don't like it.
2.
2, just 2.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a 5 then. Our next one is May Queen. Now, where's that? Oh, here we are, I think. No, that's the wrong one. Here we are, May Queen. This usually ripens in late October, but they're starting to fall off. So presumably they are more or less ripe. They usually store quite well, but the rule of thumb with storing apples is if you pick it before the end of October, it won't really keep. So it doesn't look like this is going to store this year. Oh, that's better than the last one. But it's still not developed to full flavour.
I'm just going to give it a 3.
Yeah, 3.5 for me. It's okay, but no better. The skin is slightly tough too. Our next apple is Rubaiyat. This is an American apple, bred by Albert Etta, and it is a red-fleshed apple when it is fully mature. Oh, and it's coloured up quite nicely, which is a good sign. This can be very good, but it varies with the season.
No.
It's fairly crunchy.
That's another one of those.
Yeah,
No.
slightly acidic. but I would say not really quite ready yet.
Give that a 2.
2, okay. I'll give it a 3, but we need to revisit that, I think, in 2-3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So 2 for Julie, 3. Our tree of beaver seedling, which is a Leicestershire variety, was infested this year with woolly aphid, unfortunately. So we got very few fruit. The only one which was survived is this tiny one here. But it's enough to see what the flavour's like, so here we go. It should be about 5 times the size of that though. A bit more. There's a hint of a nice flavour there. Fairly crunchy, fairly sweet. The skin doesn't seem to have developed that well.
No.
A bit tough, isn't it? I'm going to give that a 4. I think that's not bad.
The actual apple part, the inner part, tastes very nice. It's only let down by the skin.
Yeah, the skin gives it a little bit of a bitter aftertaste, doesn't it?
I'm going to give that a 3.5.
Yep, okay. Yeah, beaver seedling, when it develops properly with an apple of decent size, is very nice. And beaver seedling was bred by the head gardener, I think, at Beaver Castle. And as I explained on our last video, beaver is actually spelt B-E-L-V-O-I-R. It's got this strange English spelling, but Beaver Castle is quite a well-known property for visiting in Leicestershire. Our next one is a German apple, Weirouge, which we have met before, not this year yet. It's very similar to Red Moon, which we saw last time. You can see it's red-skinned, it's russety, it has hints of stripes, and it's usually red inside. And the flavour goes up and down very much with the weather, with the season. There was an attempt to grow this commercially in Italy, but I don't think it survived more than a few years because the trees were susceptible to fire blight. Ah, that's quite good. I like that. It's a little bit like an apple with a berry-like flavour superimposed on it. That's pretty good. I'm going to give that a 4. What do you want to say about it, Julie? Anything?
I'm not too fond of it.
No.
I'm giving it a 2.5.
Okay. It's strange that on the big Apple website, Orange Pippin, this Weirouge is rated very highly. They use the same marking system that we do, and they rate it at about 4.7. It's one of their favourite apples. Right. So perhaps in warmer countries it ripens up better and gives a better flavour. Yeah. But it's very up and down in the UK. Oh, now we have one of my favourites. This is Laxton's Fortune, also known as Fortune. An English apple raised by Laxton's brothers. It's quite an old apple. I think it was raised 80 or 90 years ago. Very juicy, very sweet, and it's got a nice rich flavour.
Excellent.
That's got to be a 5 for me, no doubt about it.
And for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely.
If you want to buy a tree of that, the modern description for it, they just call it Fortune, but the old name is Laxton's Fortune. So if you want to order one, many nurseries will supply it. It's very, very good. I would say in Leicestershire, if you like growing Cox apples, I'd grow that instead because it's a better cropper and the apples in Leicestershire taste better. And quite similar to Cox as well.
At our last house we used to have Coxes and Laxtons.
Did the Coxes grow okay? Because on many sites in Leicestershire they don't get bigger than golf balls. They don't get that sort of size. Yeah. Next one is an apple that we found at Foxton. We think it is a lost variety, we don't know what name it is. So one of our helpers that was helping us search through the undergrowth for new varieties, he found this tree, and we call it Calla Colossus, after the guy's surname, Callahan.
And I'll have a piece without the grub in.
Yeah, okay. It's an enormous apple when you grow it in the ground, this is the only apple we've got so far, because the tree is only 3 years old. Unfortunately, the tree is a tip bearer. We don't know whether it's biennial or not yet, but tip bearers are a bit difficult to prune effectively.
No, I don't like it.
Well, I think that's superb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I'm going to give that a 2.
2. We've got a very different. There are certain flavours that we don't agree on, but I was going to give that a 5. It's not that different to that little apple, Wixon. Remember that one?
No, yeah, I remember it.
Yeah,
it was
but
nice, wasn't it? But this isn't. No.
No, the Wixon is the one where I thought it was very, very good, but your teeth gave some problems.
Oh,
it
was
it? Was that one, remember?
Yeah, teeth popped out.
Yeah, and you were not impressed at all. Well, that's the best flavour I've had from that. I'm going to give it a 5, and I'm going to put a 2 down for Julie. It's a little bit similar to Zorza, that Polish apple, because it's got a hint of pineapple about it. Strange though, on most of the apples we agree, but there's just 1 or 2 flavours where we differ. And this apple is a curious one. We discovered it about 15 years ago, growing as what we thought was a seedling in a hedge in the old deer park in Witney, in Oxfordshire. And over the years we've realised that it was very, very similar to Ribston, so we just called it the deer park apple. And then last year we had a DNA test done, and it came back as Ribston. But it doesn't get as big as most Ribstons. It has a slightly sweeter flavour, and the skin isn't as tough. So we are keeping our own name for this, just in case it turns out later, when the DNA tests are more developed, that it's actually slightly different. In fact, we tried Ribston about 2 tastings back, I think, and it didn't taste like this.
I'm going to give this a 5.
Yeah, you only gave the other one, I think, a 4 or 3.5. This is a 5, no doubt about it. Very sweet. The skin isn't tough. It's crisp enough, but not particularly crisp. But that's a first-class apple. Right, now I forgot last time to hold our board up, so I'm going to hold that up now. If you get your mobile phone so I can see what they can see.
Well, it's saying the battery's low now.
Oh dear. Okay. Can they see that? I think they can. Yeah, there we go. You can see that there are 2 that have scored 10 And the red fleshed ones, which I put a red mark next to them, are relatively low scores this time. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, thanks a lot, folks. And unfortunately, whether it's the phone or the thingamajigs, we've ran into battery trouble again.
Yeah, well, another video soon, all being well.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.